Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm back. How's everyone doing today? So we had CPI, sent it lower. Took some sell side here. I also have the sell side I marked out, even like from this day. Still never hit it. From the March lows, yeah. So I have an alert there. It's CPI, and at 8:30, so that's this huge move down. And at, I believe 2 p.m. today, we are going to have FOMC minutes. So, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. Yes. We oftentimes don't have CPI in minutes the same day, so I don't know how today's going to go. Okay. Yeah, we have the bond auction as well at 1:01 p.m. So lots of news today. Good morning, good morning. Someone said that they were not expecting this CPI result. Yeah, that's why we don't really enter before CPI. It is just, if you're wrong, you're really wrong. Or they'll really just blow through your stop and you'll get filled at like 50 to 100 points below because of the nature of things. So we have all these lower highs on this way down. I'll have a sell side marked out if we hit it. And then, right, the sell side in a 4-hour fair value gap. This large area. So if I were to play a reversal, I'd wait on the 5 for a market structure shift after it took the sell side. Morning. Yes. Yeah, ICT is online, so I don't expect to have as many viewers today, which makes sense. I was listening to him until now. He was making some good points about, I think he was just talking about live streamers, actually. So funny. Yeah. What do you guys think will happen? Will we go for the sell side at open or not? This hourly. We're making hourly lows on ES and NQ, so like if we don't hit this, we could very well come back and get it later. Cool. Welcome. 15 minutes until the open. Let me take a look at DXY. Okay. Let me switch my screen over there. So, right, we hit that buy side in February, and then we just like came back into this breaker a few times. Took out sell side again, now we're reaching up higher. I don't think I need this one anymore, but I will just mark out again. Here. Yeah, on the weekly or the monthly, it really looks like it's gonna go for that buy side. I don't know. We'll see if it hits some sort of buy side here, and if it like reverses, then maybe indices also hit sell side in reverse, but they haven't been that well correlated for indices at least. This is ES on the left here and Q on the right. Just try to make them look similar. Did NQ take out this low? Yeah, no. Not yet. Yeah, not yet. Weird, yeah. We have SSL here for ES. I don't know why I marked that one out, actually. I think, yeah. All these, like, higher lows that could get run out on ES, but we took out these smooth highs here. Yeah, I personally wanted CPI to move low, higher first as the manipulation, then look for like a 10 AM reversal to the downside to that sell side. So it's not always that fun when it kind of takes that move towards the draw that you wanted. So stay on the 15 for sure. This is the hourly. 8 minutes until open. Let's see what the poll is saying. Okay, so yes, yep. So most people do say lower first into sell side. Good. It would be good, you know, if that happens, you know, before 10 and right at the open, then we'll have the sell side objective met for the morning and a major pool of liquidity engaged with. So then I'll probably like honestly I'll see how it goes, but then it's more likely for me to like wait until the afternoon for like a 5-minute market structure shift, because when you're looking at the 5-minute, you need a lot more time for market structure. Someone said they watched my vlog yesterday. Oh yeah, cool. I enjoy vlogging just for fun, you know. So it's a good little break from things. Yeah, I'm showing my cousin around New York City. There'll be a couple more too, since I took yesterday and Tuesday off ahead of CPI because there were no news. Actually, I think ICT was supposed to live stream like yesterday or something, but I just saw that he ended up like canceling that because same reason why it wasn't high expectations for before CPI. So kind of funny. So I do choose days off based on that, like, and I was like, okay, my cousin is visiting, I'll take those days off to show her around. But I am like making other like trading related content, of course, kind of reviewing like my number one errors or like my number one mistake and making like a PowerPoint on that. A few other things too. What does the weekly look like? Yeah, okay. Honestly, you guys, look, we've been ranging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is like the 7th week. Like, okay, this won't be a range because this broke out of here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6th week, essentially in the same range for NQ. Really, past few weeks have not been easy. You know what? I forgot my coffee. Oh, probably gonna have a headache. Yeah, he is live now. I think he was just, well, I was listening to him for a bit. I think he was also looking for a sell side here. I had literally marked this out since like this. We've been always teasing sell side and buy side on NQ. So we'll even see what happens. So 70% said we're going to go down to here. We'll find out. I mean, for a CPI, and we have bonds and then we have FOMC minutes later in the afternoon. So I'm just wondering how this daily candle, do we expect it to close? You know, we had 2 small body candles, right? So pretty much anticipate makes sense because Monday and Tuesday, no news days before CPI. This was a large range but small body candle, meaning like generally not so much of a decision on direction. So we'll have to see if today is going to be a decision on direction or not. I don't know. It all depends about how it reacts at the different levels, right? Yeah, we could measure how much it moved. $360 points. Let me think for a moment. Let me put on a quick disclaimer. Okay, so here's the open. You're still about like 130 points away from that sell side. Last time I was streaming, there was an earthquake. And then we had a solar eclipse. And a lot of people were telling me the end is coming. Like, okay, way to make a stressful situation more stressful. Did anyone here watch the eclipse? There's not much for me to do until, like, things get hit. Right? There's this range we just created, a very large range. But we still didn't really take this, like, March low out. We could just range, that's true. But it's CPI, so I don't really expect things to do that, really. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, I don't know. Someone's Chinese grandpa was at my door with a luggage, I don't know. So definitely the wrong house. Wrong place. Anyway. Yeah, so we usually made this huge range. Not going to engage with price unless really we have some sort of sell side taken or a major displacement. Right, we just opened, it's the first 5 minutes of the market. Earthquake live on stream last time. That was actually scary. At first I thought it was like a huge truck driving down the street. And then the thing is, it lasted longer than like 10 seconds or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's an earthquake. So the earthquake hype preceded the solar eclipse hype, and definitely like sort of like when the opener is better than the main show, essentially. I think. Well, I was not in the area for complete totality, but it was still good. I went to the Intrepid Museum, and they gave us free solar eclipse glasses, and it was good. Definitely recommend. I love the Intrepid Museum. I'll show that in an upcoming vlog, but I definitely am gonna put more trading content first. Yeah. So far the poll was incorrect with the movement. But, you know, we can give it like the first until 10 a.m. to see. But right now, it's not much to write home about, I'd say. Honestly, you guys, like, waiting for like the 5 minutes a lot better for me lately. But just because, like, we've had those like high resistance conditions a lot of the time. And, you know, I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, well, we've been ranging and stuff, but yeah, but you still have to adapt. So sort of what I've done is created some criteria and changed the way my entry would be. But anyway, we didn't hit the sell side yet, so I don't know what. Like, maybe we end up making, I don't know, inducement, but then again, I would say, like I said, like I'd want like a displacement below a low to do that. Ideally. Not always like your, not always your entry method presents itself, right? And like, that's not necessarily something you have to fix or anything. You just have to be patient then for when it does. Like, you could maybe find a different, like, have a couple of tricks up your sleeve or something, couple of different playbooks, but I wouldn't like stress about it too much. April 10th. Taxes are due in 5 days, you guys. Yeah, 66% said lower. The chat was not right today. Sometimes they are. Was the news positive or negative? It doesn't really matter, right? Is this a new mic? No. I have my solar glasses on right now while watching you. Then you can't be watching me because, like, you put it on and literally can't see anything unless it's the sun. Oh, nice. Someone said need to file my prepared and refunds to come. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting any refunds. What mic? Blue Yeti Nano. That's kind of funny that someone is saying in Spanish, debiste hacer la compra en 18120. It's like, you should have bought, or you should have placed a buy at 18120. So I'm getting people telling me what I should have done in different languages as well. Why didn't you do it then? Well, like I said, I'm not really particularly interested. You know, this move up, I don't see any displacements up. It's been wicking and then moving up. So, yeah, I don't really care to miss a 40-point move on a 360 point range. It's so crazy, like, once you start getting in the mindset of, like, okay, like, literally, like, one trade can, like, make my whole week. Not that it has to, but it could, right? So if you're looking for quality setups, and you know how your model looks like, you're not gonna be tripped out over missing a move that doesn't fall within your criteria, right? And that just comes with more screen time. Oh yeah, there's always people saying this strategy is better than the other. Well, do whatever works for you, right? People are not here to copy me. You know, DXY is still just moving towards buy side. Right? How many subs am I at right now? I haven't looked in a while, but I do want to do like a big giveaway when I get to 100. I mean, you know, when I get to 50,000 subscribers. I don't even know. How do I? Almost 48. Crazy. Hola, Tanya. Hello. How much screen time per day? As much as you can dedicate. I would say, like, honestly, the most important part is just watching it live, right? Because, I mean, even if you can't do that, then I suggest, like, FX replay. Because then the candles do form. You need to watch, like, the candles, the open, high, low, and close print. All right. Short-lived. So ES is down 1.19%, and Q is down 1%. Okay. We've had that on like days that are not high impact, so it's not really so much of a move. News at 10? I don't think so. It's like a yellow folder news at 10. Yeah. Low impact. Aw, Nomos Foster says, my friend is watching for the first time and it's like, OMG, she's good, so calm, love her vibe. Thank you. Aw, hi to your friend. It's kind of funny, ICT he was talking about how you can, you know, streamers, they try to hide acting nervous, they either start talking a lot, or they get real quiet, and I thought that was funny. I don't know what I do. I think I start humming when I'm nervous. A little bit. Or when I'm thinking, too. Yeah, you can't hide. The camera shows everything. And people will tell you if... people will let you know. So, kind of weird action here. We're just slowly grinding up. There's not really a 5-minute short-term low. Let me see the 1 minute. Not really. It's just like trend line liquidity. Definitely some weird distracting comments. I definitely, you'll get banned right away, essentially, if you write anything disrespectful. Well, there was no USD news at 9:45, but someone said there was Canadian. I don't know why that would be anything for us. Yeah, like 3 high impact Canadian news. Let's see if this ends up being anything. I don't know. We didn't really retrace on a premium. We came to here. I don't think so. I'd rather just tape read that then. Yep, strong move back up into this area. Now created this wick on the 5 minute there. It's not like it came just into this huge range. When we do this, we come into like huge ranges like that. It could just be like accumulating. I don't know. Oh, this candle's actually rejecting it. The XY is very close to buy side right now. So we have like a 1 minute breaker block from here to here, the fair value gap. Yeah, that's not a candle for those that have a bear thesis there. Actually, just closed above it. I'm definitely gonna wait until after 10. Literally, like, I used to just always just get in too early. I was looking at this and I was like, okay, this would have been like a 30-point stop. Not really worth that. 35. Accumulation. This was like distribution to the downside. It didn't finish though. So now we're just accumulating again for now. Let's see. Oops, so sorry. Version. I don't know. I don't want to really look at the 1 minute too much. So it didn't really hit like a point of interest for me, which is why I like filtered out that trade a bit, even though I was like, oh, let's watch it. Could still use that to go lower, but if we don't hit this and we end up going into a premium, this range, so I'll just mark out like, you know, the 0.5. Or OTE, whatever. Then I would look for like a 5-minute shift, honestly, because those have been better for me. Yep, so the inversion, fair value gap here now. Probably gonna go for the high again, I don't know. But nothing for me to put risk on the table on yet. Took out trendline liquidity. Not my favorite kind of thing to look at. What was it here? Kind of like this day, right? I was getting tagged that people took this, ended up taking this trade as well. That was Friday. That was the earthquake day, yeah. We had NFP Friday, took out that sell side, moved to the upside. On the 5-minute, it was pretty clean to the upside, but I had an earthquake and whatever. But I ended up saying, like, you know, it comes into this large range, hourly fair value gaps. I honestly then just wait until the 5-minute structure shift. And on ES, there was a cleaner one, but there was one for NQ. Here, ES broke like this low. The 5-minute, honestly, helps a lot. When you're in like a condition that's more difficult, you know, it kind of just filters things out so you don't like look at things at a magnifying glass through like the smaller time frames. If you're trying to catch like directional moves. Right, so this like faked a lot of people out for sure. Yeah, ended up taking that high. Cool. Now what, you know, like, I don't know. We have this wick on the 15 now. The first 30 minutes of the day are about to be over. Someone says, do you consider to day trade rather than scalp in the future? I don't scalp, I day trade, so. Who caught the shorts yesterday? There was a pretty clean on the 5. I think it was even cleaner on EOS. Broke a low with a displacement. Let me check out ES for then on this day. Right now ES is down 0.97% and NQ's down around the same, 0.85% on the day. Well, we're in the range. It would help me. You guys like stop if you stop trying to like guess which side will get engaged first. If you like, for example, if price like the issue that I a lot of times would get into is like price would be almost to a pool of liquidity, and then it would start like trading towards it, and I would think like, okay, that's going to be the first side that gets hit. I'm going to get part of that move. It's better just not to do that, for me at least, because then it could just be generating equal highs or lows for later, and you could get faked out. It's better to just wait until one side of the marketplace is swept, and then get the other side, you know. We don't have to do the first one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like pressuring myself into getting into anything here. It's about to be 10 though, so let's check it out. About to be 10 o'clock. First day back live streaming in a few days. I'll be back tomorrow too, and Friday. That's pretty much it, like, for my little break. Yeah. See if there's any comments or anything, because right now the 10 o'clock hour has started. What's the range since the open? Let's check it out on NQ. About 90 points there. Okay. Right, so on the 15 now we just made like a wick here. We can just like grind lower into like this wick. I don't know, it can do whatever. It could just not my issue what it's gonna do, because it hasn't engaged any pools of liquidity for me to do anything about it, but I mean I could watch it. It dips a little bit into here and then reaches into this premium. Maybe. maybe like this ends up being a 15-minute point of interest. I don't know. Let's see. It's not really that strong though. I mean, I don't know. It's not really, it didn't really, this like wick itself, oh, it took out trendline liquidity, so maybe. But the awesome part about being a trader is like you can choose your work week, and you can choose whether you're working, which days you're working. I tend to filter out just like, especially days before high impact news, with no news, especially Mondays with no news. Because it's just like, I like to, the way I trade, I'm not a scalper, I like to look for directional moves. So so those days are just statistically less likely to be larger range candles on the daily, right? As you can see from Monday and Tuesday, right? These candles were small body candles. And you can even see here, actually the day before NFP was crazy, but this was a Wednesday. Yeah, this was the day that like, the Secretary of State decided to like randomly say, yeah, like we're gonna help Ukraine. They're gonna join NATO. The market definitely just like rolled over 500 points. But like I said, statistically, Mondays make less than 20% of the weekly's range, right? So if things were equal, then, you know, it would have been 20%. Right, because there's 5 days in a week. Well, it's less than 20% typically, so that's how I will filter out Mondays not to trade them, especially if there's just no news drivers. I'm happy ICT is back, seemingly a little bit, right? Because he was supporting his wife, but we'll see if he's more active or not. What is this? Your New York tour video is fun. I've been all over the US except New York. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, those videos actually, okay, DXY just crossed over that buy side liquidity, right? Okay, so it hit this buy side here, right? Because CPI just started that move towards that. We'll see what ends up happening. Definitely for this type of thing, it takes some time for a structure to form, like I said, right? Because it takes time for 5-minute or 15-minute lows to create for if you get a reversal. It could keep going. Very interested to see what ends up happening here. If it does have a reversal, then like if DXY has like some sort of reversal in the 5 or 15, back lower, like into this inefficiency, right? This huge one that it left during CPI, then it's more, but it's a better environment for the indices to move higher up into this range, and then they could very well just like leave that sell side again for later. You know, it's an election year. It is a little bit different price action, and the fact that like quarterly, like, you know, it's not, every time there's been a market structure shift, or the beginning of one, it comes back into the range too deeply, and then it takes the buy side again, and then moves lower, so I was around for the last election. I was trading during the last election, but that was also 2020, and yeah, that was a huge bull market because we had QE, right? Like 0% interest rates from the Fed at that time. I'm kind of interested to ask actually you guys, how many of you guys were trading during the last election? I just want to start a poll to get a gauge. So yeah, the 15, we're not in a premium of this huge imbalance. We're not really, they didn't take sell side either. So, that's why I haven't engaged with the market yet. We have, what's the news for the afternoon? Okay, FOMC member Barkin is speaking at 12:45. That's moderate news, but you never know what's going to come out of their mouths. We have 10-year bond auction at 1:01 p.m. That definitely has been moving the market more recently, right? They upgraded it from yellow to orange finally on the forexfactory.com. A lot of people ask me what I'm using when I'm looking at that. I look at forexfactory.com, it's free, or investing.com, or both. I'll cross-check them because sometimes Forex Factory is missing things. But then more importantly, we have FOMC meeting minutes at 2 p.m. That's not the same thing as the FOMC press conference. Okay, so you can trade that. It brings some volatility, but it's less I'd say it's less erratic than the press conference. So far DXY is just fading from that. Where is this? Fading from that buy side. Right, hit it and it just, the last 5-minute candle is straight down. We'll see. Does this end up creating a displacement? It's the first possible place where it could possibly bounce because it's a fair value gap and a 15-minute order block, so I'll mark that out. So I don't get caught up in something. I'll end up seeing. Because on the 15, I don't think this is anything yet. Yeah. Yeah, I know that's not straight. You have to put shift, not straight. Okay, well, this didn't break anything or create any displacement, really just ranging, choppity chop. So far, nothing for me, but I'm pretty happy because it's not pretty satisfied. It's not like I missed anything really. That was part of my model, right? So I didn't miss a trade, essentially. But I'm okay with missing a move. When I miss a trade, that's different criteria. That's oh, that was actually part of my system and I should have seen it. That's something to review. Let's see what DXY is going to do here. will it create a 5-minute fair value gap or not? I don't know. Or is it just going to come back up and sort of range here after hitting like just distributed, right? So that's why I say like these things like take time. It's like if according to the theory of power of 3 goes accumulation, manipulation, then distribution, right? So if we just distributed, right, to the upside, then the next step is accumulating again, and then manipulating that accumulation and going down to the downside, right? So yeah. Let's see, NQ. But anyway, like the vlogs always actually typically make sense that they don't perform as well as my other videos. But I don't really care because I'm going to do what I like. And it's nice to get out a little bit because Tanya has been not going out for like 4 weeks or whatever. Because it was raining every single day, every single weekend. It definitely got into my head. I was in my head. And yeah, I mean, when you like actually get out more, you realize like, oh, there's, you know, the world is big. There's bigger things in life than your online persona or like candlesticks on a screen. So you're not as you're more tolerant to stress and things like that. Plus like sunlight is good for you. Hopefully more sunlight now. I don't know, you guys, let me see the poll. No, most people were not trading during 2020. Okay, cool. Good to know. I wonder how many people started trading the past year. Yeah, rain is part of spring, but I think this year is definitely a lot more. There were like flash floods too. Not like every single day. Because I want to gauge like my audience, and then I could like prepare some like webinar content that makes more sense. Okay, so we can see here with DXY, like I said, it takes time for the structure to form and stuff, right? There was no displacement here now. We had taken this low, but there was no fair value gap made or anything. This just came back into the range, so it's going to take time for structure to form. 10-15 mental game reminder. Which just means like, get it together if you're not together. Kind of just recuperate yourself. It's just a reminder I have for myself. In case by typically like 10-15, it's either that I'm about to get into a move. I was just in a trade, maybe I lost a trade, maybe I won a trade, or maybe I missed a trade, and it's just it's sort of like the middle of the session, right? It's 45 minutes into the session now. And London closes at 11. It's a quick like little reminder to ground yourself. So yeah, I mean, pretty much just watching the 5-minute here kept me filtering some trades out. Kept me safe. Because this is how my how I operate. It's like 4-hour point of interest, But I'm looking at the 5-minute for structure breaks. I'm not looking at the 1 hour, because especially if there's such a large imbalance, there's such a large gap, you know, and you just pushed up into that area, like I said, it just hit some liquidity there, right? Because that inefficiencies are liquidity. So distributed, right? And like it could be accumulating and then manipulating further into it, like we've seen, like just making more a point of interest for later. So I like pairing like 4 hour with the 5 minute. The 1 hour, you know, I'll look at the 5. Sometimes I will look at the 1. But 15-minute is when I'll look at the 1 minute structure. So that's more like if there's a 15-minute order block or fair value gap. It's pretty clean for afternoon setups to do that. If there's like an inefficiency left from the morning or something. So yeah, that's just a little bit of how I operate. Well, it kept me out of this like choppy range, right? So it's working so far for me. I'm pretty happy about that. What's ES doing here? Yeah, same thing, just a slow grind up. YM, you know, is even weaker as per usual. Tanya, can you please repeat why I didn't go long after the 5-minute break of structure? Are you talking about this one? Or like something here, this? Probably for this one, it was like dollar was still going for a buy side. Is the ICT still live, actually? I thought you said you go until 10. Wayne Bicknell said, Tanya, you're definitely not a scalper. Yeah, I don't know what I would consider scalping is people that take like around 10 to 15 points on NQ. Some people even take like 5 points on NQ, which I think is like wild, because like you can breathe and NQ moves 5 points, you know. And you can't really scale that. I'm trying to get into like things that you could scale, right? It's not really. This did not do anything here either. Not a strong close there. No. Nada. Nishta. And then here. Right. There's still no displacement to the downside. So, you know, I can stay as patient as I can. When we get into a premium area, I'll just put an alert. And I'll get a text message. But the idea for me is like I want to get into strategies. I don't know. I'll typically take I don't know. There's no typical for me, but like definitely at least 30 points on NQ. But like mostly probably 50 to 60, sometimes 90. But like recently for those large range moves, I got one good one on the afternoon of NFP Friday, but that was on ES. And yes, I used to take like 15 to 20 point moves, but yeah, like I said, like recently what we've been having is these large moves that sort of happen without retracements. And then it hits, and then it doesn't even hit the liquidity and it retraces the other way, so then people get faked out when they think it's a second distribution, but then it's actually just seek and destroy, you know? So it's rough. Tanya. Yep. So that's the whole point, is like understanding when to put your money down or not. And I recommend, like, literally have your points of interest marked out, right? Which is, I said, marked out here, sell side, and I have this, like, premium. And don't move to lower time frame until you get your alert that it's hit, right? Then look for the entry, because, like, I even moved down to here just to see what that looked like. But I'm sure people did get faked out here, thinking it would go lower to the sell side. But you know, we were in this large range, like I said, and I don't really trust the 1 minute when we took this trend line liquidity, so it could have went both ways. Plus, DXY didn't reach its buy side liquidity at that time. What time did it reach it? It's like 10:05. Yeah, at this time. So I think that shows, that's like the true understanding of your system, is knowing when you're not going to trade, because that really protects your bottom line, right? Because your equity curve to the downside is protected a lot more. Like, I just saved myself a lot of, I'm sure some people got chopped. I'm sure some scalpers were like enjoying the range, but like, I know myself, and I know I'm not really good at scalping. So, know thyself. But yeah, let me think. I could do a video that's like more in depth about this. But you know what, I actually literally, you know what's funny, it's like my first video, that was like my face reveal, and it's like the featured video on this channel. Crazy how that blew up. I think it has like 50k views. It's like 5 lessons I learned, yeah, from studying ICT for 18 months. And the two lessons at the end are technical lessons. And literally the first one, I think, is about high resistance liquidity runs and waiting for the 5 minute to show displacement, right? And that is something that still holds true now in these conditions, right? So pretty cool to see, and pretty crazy how I think at one point I actually forgot about that and was not following that, and I paid the price. So it's good to sort of review and have like a succinct checklist of things well defined, so then you kind of take the discretionary part out, because a lot of the discretionary part itself lies in the narrative, right? So if you can actually somehow define the narrative, you're then going to feel a little bit better about your performance and your execution, and you're just going to have more clarity about whether or not, I think this is the most important thing, it's like clarity about whether you know, you can have a losing trade and it's totally fine, it's part of your system, then that's fine. And then that's totally different than if your losing trade is because of your performance, because you took a trade outside of your system, or you just did not follow your system, right? Because you could actually, or you executed poorly. Like, there's been plenty of times where it gets to the draw on liquidity, and you know, your system could have played out, but perhaps you entered too early before the retracement, and then you're sitting in too much drawdown, end up closing the trade, right? And it ends up going to the target. That's just an example of how you can have poor performance, but like your strategy worked out. So you want to just like limit the amount of the performance errors, right? Because we're human, we're going to make mistakes. Okay, so DXY is actually not doing anything. It's not displacing a downside. It's actually bouncing right now. As I said, like it's a possible place it could bounce on this 15-minute order block. So, you know, more ranging for the indices. Let me think for a moment. Let me see any other messages. So, like a pretty standard. This is a pretty, I would say this is probably 90% of trading is like this, where you're waiting. Right? It's not supposed to be a roller coaster of emotions or trying to find something every minute just to, you know, perhaps pass an evaluation and, you know, get to the next step. That's not really good, because then you're setting yourself up for bad habits. You don't want to reward yourself. The worst possible thing to happen is for you to not follow the system, and then it ends up being a win, right? Because then you're rewarding yourself by bad habits, which could eventually like wreck you, right? Or will, because for example, like if somebody gambled, you know, taking a short into CPI, sure, maybe it worked out this time, but like next time it could easily, my gosh, next time it could easily go the other way and slip you, right? I actually remember, I think it was two CPIs ago, where Mick, which is like the risk manager of TopStep, was talking about it. That like they took the CPI, someone took CPI numbers, right? And the usual daily loss limit is like 3,000, and ended up that they were negative 30,000 in that trade. Because, you know, TopStep supposedly just like stops you out if you hit the daily loss limit, but the amount of slippage there was just that much. It's 10 times more. And I've been into 10 a.m. news, probably like 10 points, which isn't so bad, but it's a lot. You know, that's still $200 per contract on NQ. On just 10 a.m. news, which I think is okay to hold the trade into. If you get the direction right, you know, if there's already been the manipulation, then I'll like be okay to holding it. But most of the time I'm not even holding it to 10 a.m. high impact news. So I've been ranging here. Let's see. What's the chat saying? When the market's kind of slow like this, then I'll engage with chat a little bit more. So it seems like we're in a holding pattern or consolidation pattern before the afternoon, I suppose. We have PPI tomorrow at 8:30, right? Okay. Cool. So Tanya's, why am I talking about? Sometimes I talk about myself in the third person, which is weird. Ever since streaming, also, I've been sometimes talking to myself after the stream, which makes sense because you were just talking for like 3 hours straight. So I'm essentially talking to myself now, like, right? So funny. I don't even know what I was saying. Yeah, I'm just gonna have like alerts here in the premium. It could dig up higher if I'm going to short. Then the way I'm going to just wait is like if there's a 5-minute market structure shift with a displacement. It's not that much guesswork necessary, right? Or maybe we end up going lower. Then I'll wait here and then see how it reacts. Is it gonna, have a strong reaction, go lower? Then that means continuation probably. Or is it gonna shift structure from the 5 back to the upside? Then I'd look for a reversal. That's like, long story short, what I do. Since there's not really any 15-minute points of interest here, I'm not looking at the 1. Yeah, so see on the hourly, now we have like this hourly fair value gap. We do have like, these lows here. Potentially this could be a roadblock. Which is why this is like a high resistance move up, right? Oh yeah, but what I was going to say is Tanya is focusing on capital preservation. Yeah. This is the weekly right now. We have these now equal lows here on the weekly. Wonder if this weekly does not end up taking this, and perhaps the next week, I don't know. But tomorrow is PPI, right? At 8:30. Yeah. Okay. Well, that should be a whenever you say should is not a good thing, because then it like implies an expectation, and you don't want to have like expectations really, but more likely than not, tomorrow will be a large range candle on the daily. It's like today, I mean, but like already did all that. So you have to wait. So yeah, capital preservation's key. I'm not like trying to blow up any accounts or anything. Let me see other questions. Oh, okay. Tanya, on the My Funded Futures sale, oh, does the rebills, does it count for rebills? Okay, yeah. There's actually a sale now for, they announced it yesterday, I think, right? I have a graphic. Yeah, I asked them. It does count for rebills too. So they have let me pull it up. My Funded Futures is running a sale. Every eval on their starter plan is $50. So even the 150K to buy it is $50. 100K is $50. The 50K is $50. The difference is if you pass it, then the activation fees are different. So it does work on rebills as well. So if you use code Tanya Trades, every starter plan is $50. So if you want to check out My Funded Futures, that's a pretty good sale. I actually have never seen like 150K that you can buy for $50 only. So I think that's like the best deal for that, for sure. So yeah, but yeah, capital preservation, I'm not really, like, look at this range. I'm so happy. I'm actually proud of myself right now that I did not get involved in this. Look at how, like, I mark out these highs essentially, right? and I look at how those candles close and the next candle after, right? So we've just been wicking and coming back into the range. It implies that there's no, the market is not moving in a clear direction, right? It's very different than, I'm sure I can find something here. This is a little sloppy, but yeah. This had the fair value gap here that it left during 1140. This ended up not taking this low, by the way, so anyone that was trying the longs here would not have gotten stopped out. Let me see here. Just like literally on the 5 minute, and this is NFP. Right, this one freaking earthquake disturbed my stream. Displacements. It didn't come back to this fair value gap here, but then you had another one for the second leg, right? And it retraced to the fair value gap and OTE, which is just the spot between the fibs that are this golden portion, at least the 618. Actually did retrace the 618 there. Got bought up again. Right? There was no 5 minute market structure shift. It didn't break any 5 minute low, but rather it displaced to the upside and then continued into the premium of that of this range here. Yeah. So that's just how I've been operating in these conditions. That being said, I don't really see anything. I don't see any reason for me to continue and waste my time and your time. So I'm going to end the stream earlier today, but that's essentially what I'm going to be looking for into the rest of the day. Oh, maybe it starts displacing here. Meh, that's not, like, over this candle's like nothing. We'll see how it ends up closing, but that's not really clean still. Can you imagine like all the people like shorting, trying to short like the bear flag or something? But it didn't break down to the downside, so maybe they wouldn't have taken it either. Who knows? I don't trade that, so again, this like these moves up are not really clean. For ES, right? CES here. I'll mark out this as well. Once it gets to the premium. And then essentially, like, I'll just mark out like the lows, every 5 minute short-term low previously that it made, to get alerted as it breaks that. But like I said, we just have like trendline liquidity here. We don't have really any 5 minute short-term lows, and it would have to create the structure up here to do that. Well, what does DXY look like? Yeah, hanging around here, bouncing. Yeah, okay, so NQ again, right? There's no fair value gap here as it broke these highs, so it could very well just range more, which, like I said, I'm not interested in scalping back ranges. And I'm going to work on some content and just reviewing trades in general. So I hope everyone stays safe. Hope people didn't get chopped up. You know, you can check out, if you're looking for an eval, you can check out My Funded Futures, or Apex is actually doing 80% off still this whole month because they paid out $25 million in March, which is insane. I definitely have a goal of taking out like at least $20,000 in a payout from them. but that requires my conditions to be met, so I'm not rushing it, or else I'm going to blow up the accounts. So, yeah, I hope everyone has a good day. I am ending the stream earlier because, yeah, it's just not meeting my conditions. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for PPI. Tomorrow morning I'll start at 9 a.m. again. So stay safe.